Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Associate, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021, chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh, bền vững.
Good morning, everyone. The program will start in a few minutes, so please make sure that your network connection is stable during the seminar. To ensure the quality of the seminar, the organizers hope that you can turn off the microphone when the speakers or guests are talking. If you have any questions to the discuss, please press the button raise hand or send a message to the chat box. We can send it to the speakers. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vicky, event coordinators of Vietnam Software and IT Services Associations, VNASA. Today, it is my honor to be the coordinators for the seminar. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to say thank you for taking your time to participate in the webinar, Singapore and Vietnam IT Corporations, with the purpose of connecting business between Vietnam and Singapore in the ICT field. The seminar is sponsored by Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore in coordination with SGTech, Enterprise Singapore, and Singapore Industry Automation Association. First of all, I would like to introduce all the guests to participate in this event. We invite you to press the upload icon to greetings the distinguished guests. From Vietnam, I would like to welcome Ms. Trần Thu Quỳnh, Head of Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore. Dr. Nguyễn Thành Tuyên, Deputy Director General of Information Department, Ministry of Information and Communications. Mr. Nguyễn Hữu Lộc, Head of Market Research, Global Centers, Viettel Business Solution Corporations. Mr. Frank Lee, Managing Director of Tech JDI. And Mr. Hùng Nguyễn Vano, CEO and founders of Bestarion. From Singapore, I'd like to welcome Mr. John Lu, Director of ICT and Media Enterprise Singapore. From VNASA, please welcome Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang, Vice Chairwoman cum General Secretary of VNASA. The seminar today may last up to 1.5 hours with the presentations and about Vietnam ICT industry and the Q&A sections. Besides this seminar, all the audience can visit the landing page of this event to view Vietnamese companies' profile, online booth, and director to connect them via live chat, or you can register business matching with us we would like to connect and find your suitable Vietnamese partner to Singapore company. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin the webinar, I would like to invite Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang, Vice Chairwoman and General Secretary of VinaSA, to give the welcome speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to thank you very much and welcome you all to the seminar on Vietnam-Singapore ICT Cooperation Seminar today. As you may know that Vietnam ICT industry is now one of the key industry that got a lot of preferential by the government with many good policies, incentives. In 2020, Vietnam IT industry got revenues of more than 120 million US dollar and take for 14.7% of the GDP. And IT industry now is considered the biggest IT in Vietnam at the moment. And inside the industry, we have more than 1.2 million people are working in the industry, and of which 220,000 software engineers. Vietnam is also one of the biggest market in ASEAN with more than 97 million population. While else, Singapore is one of the countries that have very advanced IT industry with many good solutions or platform or services. But is messing up with the shortage of, and also very small, and Singapore needs the market to expand and cooperate. So that's why I see very good potential for cooperation in IT industry. We can work together to win together, and yeah, with the big and large talented human resource pool and big market, and with the good solution or product or solutions, and also need the human resource from Singapore, so we can work together and have a good cooperation. So this is the first time VinaSA in cooperation with support from the Trade Consulate of Vietnam in Singapore, and some association from SG Tech, from ESG, from SIAA Singapore to support to organize these activities, seminars and activities. So in 3 days, we will have seminar today and also have the one-to-one business matching meetings between Vietnamese and Singaporean company. And I hope that for today's seminar, in 1.5 hours, you will have enough information for your decision to work with, how to work with Vietnamese company, or Vietnamese company will know how to have experiences and how to work with Singaporean company. So I really hope that you will enjoy the time for the seminar today. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Giang. And now I would like to invite Ms. John Lu, Director of ICT and Media, Enterprise Singapore.
Ms. Nguyen Su Chang, Vice Chair of VinaSA, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And thank you very much for inviting Enterprise Singapore to your virtual business mission. I hope that through our such business missions, more Singapore and Vietnam companies can explore opportunities to partner to collaborate and to do business together. For those that are not familiar, Enterprise Singapore is a government agency under the Ministry of Trade and Industry in Singapore. Our mission is to grow stronger Singapore companies by building capabilities, by strengthening innovation, and helping them to access global opportunities. Yeah, so that's our mandate. So to help companies access new technologies opportunities, we have 36 overseas centers in key cities around the world. In Vietnam, our centers are in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. And our colleagues in these centers have been working very closely with the Vietnamese government as well as companies to facilitate Singapore's companies' investments and partnerships in Vietnam. So I think that's been ongoing. Yeah. So as we all know, COVID-19 has caused major disruptions to our lives and also to our work, right? But the pandemic has also accelerated the digital technology adoption globally. And actually businesses now understand the need to leverage on technology more pervasively. The Singapore government has taken the lead, having announced recently that we will increase our ICT spending by 10% to about $2.8 billion to transform Singapore's government's digital services and enhance our infrastructure. So government taking the lead to invest in this digital arena. This will create opportunities for tech companies. And we have platforms like called the Open Innovation Platform. That's by another agency called the Infocom Media Development Authority. This platform enables innovation calls to be organized. And Enterprise Singapore our local companies that we work with can access problem statements by MNCs and so that they can actually provide solutions to help innovate and to help engage with these opportunities. So we welcome you to use Singapore as a launchpad to the region. We have events coming up like the Singapore FinTech Festival and the Singapore Week of Innovation and Technology, known as Switch. This is coming up in November, and we will have participants from more than 160 countries. So this serves as a platform for startups and for the tech community to explore opportunities and drive new frontiers in terms of innovation. So looking more broadly within this region, Southeast Asia, the digital sector has been seeing tremendous growth. And as I mentioned early on, accelerated by COVID, and the need to do so has never been more urgent. So I urge the Vietnam digital, and I understand the Vietnam digital economy will grow also very rapidly in the next few years. So this presents opportunities and partnerships for Vietnamese and Singapore tech companies to complement each other, right, and to build new capabilities together. So, and Enterprise Singapore works with our Singapore companies across multiple domains, e-commerce, health, logistics. So many industries that we touch and we engage. And so I think we have a wide portfolio of companies that we know and work with on a regular basis. So as we speak, SG Tech, which I think you're all familiar with, is Singapore's leading trade association for tech industry, has been organizing virtual business missions to support tech companies in Singapore, in Vietnam, Indonesia, and Thailand. This will be ongoing, right? And this is actually important work. These virtual missions will all include business matching, pre-qualifying suitable buyers, connecting to resellers, help companies to land in certain and all the countries that we've talked about in Southeast Asia. And we know that this is important. We understand that because ICT is among the top 10 investment sectors for Singapore companies in Vietnam, and more than 250 investments to date. So I think there's a lot of interest, and I think there's going to be a continued movement and interest in this area moving forward. So we understand that from Vietnam's Ministry of Information and Communications that the ICT market is estimated at a value of 20 billion in 2019. And this is expected to grow very fast, 10 to 15% up to 2025. So I think the growth rates are really, really good. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for companies, to work together on both sides, right, Vietnam and Singapore. So in conclusion, I think Vietnam has been a very strong standing important partner to Singapore. And Enterprise Singapore remains keen to continue to build stronger ties and cultivating opportunities for businesses in both countries. We appreciate our valuable relationships in leading Vietnamese corporates and associations such as Vinasa to further these efforts. So on this note, I wish Vinasa and the participating companies a very fruitful business mission today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. John Lu. And to continue, Ms. Trần Thu Quỳnh, head of Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore, is going to give an opening speech. Please welcome her.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Quỳnh Trần, Counselor of Vietnam Embassy in Singapore and head of Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore. I'm very pleased to attend the Singapore-Vietnam IT Cooperation Webinar 2021 today. It is important to note that our webinar happens in the midst of COVID-19 context. In fact, the pandemic has hit hard the world economy, including the IT sector. The world has been in pandemic mode for nearly 2 years. We don't really yet know what's going to happen, but we all know that the COVID-19 is here to stay, and our business future depends on how we can adapt ourselves to coexist with it and still make money and create value for the society. I believe that our webinar today will provide as much as chances for Singapore businesses to understand the panorama of Vietnam IT sector, but also the opportunities to connect directly with Vietnam's big IT players and Vietnam's IT insider and experts. It will be also a good platform for Vietnamese company to attract or raise capital, as I understand that many Singaporean businesses are looking for investment opportunities abroad via capital contributions or M&A in IT sector. In fact, the attendance of all of you today has already proved the increasing interest of IT business community towards the IT cooperation potentials between our two countries. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to take the next few minutes to share with you some of the remarkable figures regarding the overall economic cooperation between Vietnam and Singapore in 2020-2021. Despite of COVID-19 context, Singapore is now our first largest investor in 2020 and in the first 9 months of 2021, surpassing Japan and Korea. And in terms of trade, Vietnam is among top 15 biggest trading partners for Singapore, and vice versa. Singapore is our 4th biggest trading partners in ASEAN. Last year, our two countries' total trade reached almost 23 billion Singapore dollar, and IT products represent about 1/3 of our total trade. By IT products, I mean IoT equipment, smartphone, AI camera, semiconductor, etc. Vietnam import about 8.6 billion Singapore dollar and export nearly 2.3 billion in IT products in 2020, and a rising trend of double digits year on year in comparison to 2019. The value of trade in IT services is also increasing. It has been estimated in 2018 at $200 million export value from Vietnam to Singapore and about 500 million import value from Singapore to Vietnam. And the trend is showing to increase year on year. For Vietnamese startups, especially IT startups, Singapore has been always an attractive destination thanks to its friendly business environment, simple business procedure, transparent market, respected intellectual property, good supporting policy for business, especially high-tech businesses. The wave of Vietnamese business startup in Singapore has been rising for the period 2016, 2018. In 2017 alone, nearly 200 new companies were established, bringing the total number of Vietnamese companies in Singapore to around 400, mainly specializing in the area of IT, new technology, blockchain, etc. I'm glad that VNASA has the initiative to organize this webinar. This webinar will help to build up an increasing awareness about Vietnam's IT environment and its potentials. With the success in vaccination program and the well control of COVID-19 in Singapore, we believe that the vaccinated travel lane will be open soon for Singaporean businesses. Also, the upcoming digital partnership agreement and the potential digital economy agreement between our two countries will surely continue to pave the way for the cooperation in IT sector between our businesses. I strongly believe that this webinar and the follow-up B2B session will provide preliminary occasion for businesses of both countries to dialogue, share experiences, as well as network to figure out business cooperation opportunities. In this connection, on behalf of Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore and Vietnam Embassy in Singapore, I would like to wish you all the best. And with your energetic contributions, I look forward to seeing the success of our webinar and our B2B sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your kind words from Ms. Queen. And to start with our first presentations, I would like to introduce Mr. Đỗ Thanh Bình, representative from Vinasa, to present us an overview of Vietnamese ICT industry and the potentials, collaborations, opportunities between Vietnam and Singapore ICT industry. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bing, representative from Vinasa. Today I will talk about the potential cooperation opportunities between Singapore and Vietnam. But before moving into that part, I would like to invite you to watch a video on the overview of Vietnam ICT industry. Hope you enjoy the video.
Located in the heart of Southeast Asia, an emerging market with more than 600 million population, Vietnam is considered as one of the dynamic and fastest growing countries all over the world. IT industry is regarded as an important infrastructure and one of the biggest driving factors to the development of Vietnam.
According to the Ministry of Information and Communications report, in 2020, Vietnamese ICT revenue approximated $120 billion and would reach $131 billion at the end of 2021. The hardware industry reported $107 billion and the software and IT services industry reached $13 billion. The annual growth rate ranges between 15% and 20%, 3 times higher than the growth rate of GDP. There are about 47,000 IT enterprises with 1.03 million employees, including 250,000 software engineers. Currently, Vietnam has 149 universities, 412 IT vocational schools, providing more than 62,000 technologies engineers annually, and spending much effort for the target of 1 million software engineers. IT is now having a special focus by the Vietnamese government and considered as a crucial infrastructure of all other infrastructures, a driving force for socio-economic development, particularly from 2021 to 2030, the period of national comprehensive digital transformation.
Vietnam has a developed telecommunication infrastructure with 1 million kilometer bandwidth, covering to 100% commutes throughout the country, connecting with 7 international fiber optic cables. Vietnam, together with Singapore, are the first 2 countries that launched commercial 5G system in Southeast Asia. Vietnam has over 140 million mobile phone subscribers and is among the world's top 20 countries of highest number of internet users and top 10 countries having cheapest internet costs in the world.
Vietnamese IT businesses presently account for 80% of domestic market, providing solutions and services for both government and private sector. Export of IT services takes 40% of software revenues, with 3 main targeted markets of the USA, Japan, and European countries. It is now fast expanding, providing services for Korea, Chinese Taipei, and Australia. Besides traditional services like coding and testing, cooperation on system design, R&D, using new technologies such as AI, cloud, big data, IoT, blockchain, VR, AR are rising fast.
According to the Australian Trade and Commerce Report, Vietnam is ranked the third in the Southeast Asia on startups market with 3,000 enterprises, top 20 economies driven by startups. Number of startups supporting organizations are also increasing quickly with 23 business promotion organizations, nearly 50 incubators, 40 venture investment funds, and over 170 co-working spaces.
E-commerce and fintech are two fast-growing areas, attracting leading startups and investment capital in the region. In 2020, the Vietnamese e-commerce market grew 18% to 11.8 billion USD in revenue. Meanwhile, the number of fintech companies in Vietnam increased nearly 4 times over that of 2016, reporting approximately 9 billion USD from 150 businesses. Startups are encouraged in agriculture, tourism, medical, and education.
In June 2020, the Prime Minister of Vietnam approved the National Digital Transformation Program to the year 2025 with orientation to 2030 with 3 main pillars: digital government, digital economy, and digital society. Targets by 2030, 80% of top-level online public services, 100% of national databases are integrated on e-government platforms. Digital economy accounts for 20% of GDP. Top 50 Global Competitiveness Index, GCI. Top 35 Global Innovation Index, GII. Universalizing smartphones for people to access online services. Currently, digital transformation is being mentioned everywhere in Vietnam. Vietnamese businesses ranging from SMEs to big corporations are focusing on investing heavily in the application of digital technologies to create competitive advantages. Meanwhile, the government is making great strides in building a digital government with a series of national databases being established, and the proportion of online public services has increased rapidly. Vietnam is currently ranked the 86th in the e-government and the top 25 Global Cybersecurity Index, GCI. More than 40 provinces in Vietnam are carrying out their smart cities building plan.
In recent years, Vietnam has always been in the top 10 most attractive countries for providing IT services in the world. Vietnam is also the second largest IT trusted partner of Japanese and enterprises. Vietnam is being evaluated as the #1 destination for shifting of the global supply chain. Foxconn, Wistron, Luxshare, Pegatron, which are the vendors of Apple, Sony, Google, Microsoft, the world's largest technology corporation, have chosen Vietnam to build their manufacturing factories. Besides, Vietnam is also emerging as a technology R&D center of the world. Samsung invests $200 million R&D center targeted to reach 3,000 engineers by 2022. Qualcomm introduced their first ASEAN R&D center in Hanoi. Grab has an operations center in Ho Chi Minh City. LG, Panasonic, Toshiba are also completing their R&D centers in Vietnam. Vietnam has advantages in a large number of technology enterprises, up to 47,000 companies and rising rapidly. Besides, Vietnam also has an abundant IT human resources of 250,000 software engineers who are highly qualified, especially in new technologies such as AI, big data, cloud, IoT. According to HackerBank, Vietnamese programmers are ranked second among ASEAN countries and 23rd in the top 50 countries with the best programmers in the world. Vietnamese IT engineers are among the first and rare to receive Google's Advanced TensorFlow AI certification and GE Predix IoT certification. Universities and training centers are also making great efforts to target to become the center of AI human resources and R&D in the region and the world.
So I hope that you have got some insights into the overview of Vietnamese ICT industry. So now I will talk about the potential cooperation between Vietnam and Singapore ICT cooperation. So as you may already know, Vietnam has highly skilled and motivated labor force, and we are also considered to have a political, stable, and fast-growing economy. Actually, Vietnam stands at the number 3 as fastest growing telecommunication market in Asia. And we are also considered an ideal destination for startups. So here's what the world is talking about Vietnam. So AT&T said that Vietnam stands at the number 5 in the most attractive global service location in the world. Gartner recognized Vietnam as a Tier 1 emerging offshore outsourcing location in APAC. And Thailand said Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi are among the top 20 emerging global outsourcing cities in the world. Here you can see the total internet users in Southeast Asia from the year 2015 to 2019. In 4 years, the number rises 100 million people. But from the year 2019 to 2020, the number rises like 40 million. So it is just in 1 year. So you see, the figure says that people are moving online, and this is a current trend, not only in Southeast Asia, but also in the world. So that is in Southeast Asia. What about in Vietnam? So with a population of about 97.75 million people, we are now having around 154.4 million mobile phone subscribers, with 68.72 million internet users and 72 million active social media users. This figure says that Vietnam is ready for introducing and also for the internet, the digital services and products. Here you can see the IT labor force of Vietnam. So by the end of 2020, Vietnam has around 1,030,000 IT employees, including 250,000 IT engineers. And they can say that Vietnam is ready for not only developing the IT industry in our country, but also we are ready for collaborating with other countries, overseas companies. Here you can see the average salary for technology platform for different positions from 1.5 to 3 years of experience. So ranking from the highest position like CTO, CIO to technical support or help desk. So you can see that the salary is really competitive compared to other sectors, other fields in Vietnam. And here you can also see the average monthly salary of software engineer in some selected countries in Asia. Actually, this is the survey that VNASA conducted in, say, 2015, but I think that the number is still correct for today. So as you can see from the graph, Vietnamese average monthly salary of software engineers really competitive compared to other countries in the region like Thailand or Malaysia or Japan, Korea. And now we'll talk about some IT trends and movements in Vietnam nowadays. Actually, I've listed 3 digital trends, which are digital transformation, smart cities, and new technology, especially AI. So as you can see from the video that I showed before, the Vietnamese government is giving a lot of incentives for IT enterprises, and especially in the tax exemption, tax reduction, preferential tax rate, or the rental fees when you're working in software parks, and also discount for the personal income tax. Especially in software development, you don't have to pay tax for the first 4 years of operation. And in the next 5 years, since having taxable income, you only have to pay 10% corporate tax. So this is really competitive tax compared to the 25% corporate tax in other sectors in Vietnam. Besides that, we also have preferential personal income tax for the professors or for the people working in the software industry. Talking about the sandbox in Vietnam, the government is also paying great attention to piloting and developing sandboxes, especially at the end of 2020. Government are piloting the mobile money sandbox, and that is considered one of the biggest successful sandbox in Vietnam. We heard that Singapore are a merging country in terms of ICT industry. So we figure there must be some cooperation opportunity between the two countries. And here, what Vietnam is needing nowadays, actually I have 4 things that Vietnam needs nowadays. First one, e-government, so we can go toward digital government. We also care about developing digital transformation, which is a need and which is a must in not only Vietnam and also in every country in the world nowadays. We want to build smart cities in Vietnam, and we want to train human resources to develop new technologies. So here are some opportunities you can have when you cooperate with Vietnam. So you can open office in Vietnam. So then you can take advantage of the human resources in Vietnam, which is very talented, well educated, and like I said before, very competitive in price. You can also enjoy the incentives of the government, especially in the tax deduction or tax exemption. And also when you cooperate with Vietnam, you can accelerate a business with a big market in Vietnam, which is with more than 97 million people. And this is also a big step to expand the business into the Southeast Asia market, which has a population of around 600 million people. And that is really good and competitive opportunity. So here are some potential cooperation scopes that Vietnam is offering for overseas company. We can use the human resources of each other. We can also cooperate to develop the new technologies like AI, IoT, blockchain, cloud, etc. We can also cooperate to develop the web and mobile apps. And if you want to, you have a lot of work, you want to outsource your workload to Vietnam, that is a good idea also. You can also distribute the products to Vietnam, which is very potential market. And what I want to say here is about the R&D centers you can build in Vietnam, which is now attracting a lot of countries in the world, like Samsung. They have a big R&D center in Vietnam, which has around more than 2,000 people working in that nowadays. So that is the potential cooperation scopes we offer. And a big, I want to spend a little time talking about VNASA, which is Vietnam Software and IT Services Association. So VNASA is a non-government and non-profit organization established in 2002 with more than 450 members, accounting for more than 70% of the revenue of the industry and 65% of the workforce of the industry. So VNASA serves the bridge, the connection between the businesses and the government, domestic companies and the domestic companies and the overseas companies. So we are now carrying out a lot of activities like business development service, training, and HR development, promotion, investment and consulting, support and accelerate startup, and research and promote for technologies, application, policy consulting, and building lobbying. And so if Singaporean companies want to connect with Vietnamese ICT companies who want to research about our human resources, our current trend in the IT industry, and you want to open your office in Vietnam, VNASA would be happy to be the bridge, to be the connection between the two countries. And VNASA would be happy to help you. So that is pretty much what I want to say for today. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that you can have a lot of useful information from my presentation. Thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bin, for interesting information about Vietnam markets in ICT industry and Vinasa. And next, may I now invite Dr. Nguyễn Thành Tuyên, Deputy Director General of Information Technology Department, Ministry of Information and Communications.
Hello, good morning, everybody. First of all, it's a very great honor for me to participate in this webinar between Vietnam and Singapore on the ICT opportunity. Yeah.
Sorry, Dr. Tuyên, maybe you are unmute.
Oh, I already unmute. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so good morning again, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Vinasa for inviting me to this webinar. It's a great honor for me. And now I am a Deputy Director General of the Department of Information Technology of the Ministry of Information and Communications of Vietnam. Our agency's function is to help ICT business to do business in Vietnam. So I would like to share with you about my slides. Okay. Just a moment. Share screen. So can you see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So in my presentation, I would like to introduce you about Vietnam ICT and the orientation of the strategy and plan of ICT in the next 5 years, and about the incentive schemes of Vietnam. So you may know about Vietnam very well because Singapore and Vietnam are neighbors. But you may not know that Vietnam, we are very close. We are situated in one of the most active ocean routes and airlines of the world. And Vietnam now is one of the 15 largest country in terms of populations. We are almost 100 million people. And our sea surface area is about 1 million kilometers squares. And as you can see here, the airlines and the sea lines, which just shows the Malacca in Singapore and to the East Sea of Vietnam, where about 50% of the petrol and oil workloads are transported here. And about the ICT, Vietnam now is ranked as the global top 10 in ICT exports. Since 2019, we are number 2 of the cell phone exports. With we take part about 13.3% of the market share. And number 9 of electronic circuits, about 3.6. So we surpass many very large countries this area. We are number 7 of video games in 2020, 4.4 global market share. Number 9 of IT outsourcing, and number 5 of software outsourcing. About the ICT industry at a glance, you can see here the revenue of the ICT grew very quickly since in the last 10 years, from about 13 billion US dollar in 2011. Now we are about 130 billion US dollars estimated this year. And we surpassed many big countries in your left hand side. We surpassed Thailand, Brazil, Indonesia, and even America in the hardware and electronics productions. So the hardware revenue is the biggest share of the ICT revenue, about 110 billion US dollars. Software about 5 billion US dollars, and IT service is 7 billion US dollars. Digital content is we don't have the adequate information about this. It's estimated about 1 billion US dollars, but recently a game company like AC Infinity is estimated its value was over 2.5 billion US dollars. So, so we got about 60,000 digital companies. We export about 95 billion US dollars. And about human resource, we had about 1 million IT personnel who are working in the IT city area. They are very young, very eager, talented, and eager to learn and to study. And the salary of the ICT worker Vietnam is very competitive. It's much lower than neighboring countries like Singapore, like Japan and Korea, and even very competitive to India and China. Where the average initial salary of ICT worker is just about 300 US dollars per month. The average income per worker can see here about $10,000 per year, and it's higher in the software sport or API companies. Here I make a map for you. This is a map of Vietnam, where you can see that the ICT business located. It's a focus in the 3 regions. North in Hanoi and surrounding provinces. You can see here, like we have a big API like Samsung in Thái Nguyên and Bắc Ninh, and Pegatrons, the company who outsource for Apple and Microsoft. They have a big factories in Hai Phong province in the north. And we have Intel in Ho Chi Minh City in the Saigon High-Tech Park. So we have 3 high-tech parks, one in Hanoi, one in Da Nang, and the other in Ho Chi Minh City. And we have 6 IT parks, 2 in Hanoi, 1 in Da Nang, 1 in Hue, and 1 in Ho Chi Minh City, and the recently established in Cần Thơ. And you also have a large IT domestic company like APG, like Viettel, and so on. So at the moment we have 8 provinces with ICT revenue over $1 billion. And recently, as you may know, that the pandemic of Corona spread all over the world, but Vietnam was one of the very rare cases. Last year, we successfully contained the pandemic, and so that we are one of the few countries got a positive growth in the world. This year, we are now battling with the outbreak that's spreading very quickly, and with a great effort, the provinces in the north, like Bắc Ninh and Bắc Giang and Thái Nguyên, where big industrial zones and API company located, they control the coronavirus spread and maintains production. That's the revenue exports of ICT industry keep increasing in the last 6 months. We got 18% growth compared with the last of the 2020. And in the south of Vietnam, now we are trying to control the pandemic and try to maintain the production. So we hope that we can get better in from now until the end of the year when we got vaccinations. Now we move to the second part of Vietnam ICT development strategy. So we are preparing the 5-year plan, programs, and strategy for the ICT development orientations. So we set the target that by the next 5 years, by 2025, the growth rate would be twice as much of that of the national GDP growth rate. And we target to have 1,000 IT digital companies, and the growth rates of and contribute from 6 to 6.5% of the GDP shares, and it's quite high compared with the country like Korea and America. It would be a similar figure. So we target to be top 3 of the mobile game, and we got 10 provinces with a revenue over $1 billion and 10 IT companies with revenue over $1 billion.
I'm sorry,
so we target by 2030. So we would have 150,000 digital company, and we would make ICT industry one of the largest economic sector.
I'm sorry, Dr. Tuyên. Can you
yes.
put your presentation in the presentation mode?
I'm sorry.
Can you make the full screen of the presentation? Okay, good. Thank you.
Like this? Sorry.
Yes.
So in our program, we focus on strategic areas. First, on the legal. We plan to build a new digital industry law so that we will get more favorable conditions and environment for digital industry development in the next 10 years. And we also focus on digital enterprises development. So we support to set up more startup and more digital companies to work in Vietnam. We focus on the human resource development. So we encourage more colleges and universities to provide IT training, and it focus more on the quality rather than on the quantities of the human resource. And also encourage the proactive roles of provinces in development of the digital industry. And we also focus on the digital technology and products, and especially the new and emerging technologies of the fourth industrial revolution, such as AI and the big data and so on. And we also focus on the market development so that we expand the domestic markets, such as the government agencies, and we want to open it more to the ICT industry so that they can know well and supply the solution to the government. And also we focus on the communication propaganda, something like this Vinasa do today, is that we provide more information, we market more to the customer and so on. And we also have something like award and prizes for the best companies, like what we are doing now is the Make in Vietnam Awards. We conduct every year. So what is incentive schemes in Vietnam for ICT? As we may know that IT is defined as one of the high-tech area, which means that it would get the highest incentives of Vietnam in terms of the types. We got software products manufacturing activity would be preferential policy in terms of the tax exemptions in the first 4 years, and the 50 reduction of the payable tax in the next 9 years, and after that would be the 10% tax in the next 15 years. You may know that the normal tax for is about 22%. So this for IT area is much attractive and much lower. And as an incentive for tax and scheme for our company, IT company who that works in IT parks and in the parks. It's not passed. Okay? So those companies that works in the IT parks or software park or high-tech park would get the incentive in the form of land lease or sublease, or in the income tax. First one is 10% for the 15 years, and tax exemption for 4 years, and the 50% reduction in the next 9 years. And also they got the other good conditions, such as the infrastructure that have been built in these parks. So recently Vietnam launched in parallel with the ICT industry program strategy, the National Digital Transformation Program. So we focus on the three pillars: digital government, digital economy, and digital society. We focus on in terms of digital government. We want to get the government online and provide the best services to the public. And digital economy, so we want to make it to 20% of the national GDP, so one of the largest areas, economic sector of Vietnam. And about the digital society, we focus on the infrastructure, internet, and the universal usage of the 4G and 5G, and of the smartphone, the electronic payment. They want to be the top 30 of the GCI ranking. So I think that Vietnam and Singapore has many opportunity to work together. You may know that Singapore has a very good, it's a very good venue for Vietnamese digital company. You may know that one of the best, very famous online games of the world is a Flappy Bird, and recently the AC Infinity. It's about 1.5 billion US dollar companies that I just mentioned. They are all Vietnamese people who set up their business in Singapore. So we expect that more Singaporean companies would come to open business with Vietnam, because we have a large pool of digital personnel. So we can work with still to provide service to the global market. So we can, I think that we have a lot of chance opportunity, and I wish that the cooperation between our two countries would be fruitful in the next coming years. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tuyên. I believe your presentation is useful for companies which have intentions to expand their business in Vietnam. Okay, so move on. I would like to invite Mr. Nguyễn Hữu Lộc, Head of Market Research Global Centers, Viettel Business Solutions Corporation, to present us about emerging technologies in Vietnam.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me share the screen first. Can you see the slide in full screen?
It's still loading.
All right, it's good now. So first of all, thank you, Vinasa, for another opportunity that I can speak and share some information technologies in Vietnam. My name is Locke, and I'm currently working for Viettel Business Solution Corporation, which is a member of Viettel Group, as a head of market research of Global Solution Center. So within the limit of time in the presentation today, I'm going to quickly highlight some of the emerging technologies in Vietnam, including 5G, big data, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, AR and VR. So regarding 5G,
I'm sorry, we
Vietnam,
still do not see the screen.
Can you see it now?
No, still. Okay, okay.
All right, all right. All right. Regarding 5G, Vietnam became the 5th country in the world to master 5G technologies and caught up with leading countries for 5G, such as the US, Australia, Japan, and South Korea. This opened the advantage for the country in the race of the 4th industrial revolution based on 5G super fast transmission speeds and very low latency. And the technology is expected to transform industries, autonomous production lines, logistics networks, and create a boom of IoT devices, remote robots, AR, VR, AI technology, and big data. In Vietnam, the Ministry of Information Communications has licensed 3 telecom corporations, including Viettel, Vinaphone, and Mobile Phone, to try out 5G services in 4 largest cities, including Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Da Nang, and Hai Phong. Regarding 5G development, recently Viettel, Ericsson, and Qualcomm technology successfully researched, tested, and achieved 4.7 gigabyte per second 5G data transmission speed. This is 40 times faster than 4G and 2 times more than existing 5G, and it is considered as one of the fastest 5G telecom network in Asia. The number of 5G subscription in Vietnam is forecast to reach 6.3 million in 2025, according to Cisco. The early rollout of 5G services could help Vietnamese mobile carrier increase revenue by 300 million US a year starting from 20 and 25. So Vietnam is on track right now to meet its lofty 5G ambitions, but the path ahead will include obstacles in technology, national security, and governance. Regarding AI, according to AI Scopus, the number of scientific publications on AI in Vietnam accounted for about 5.3%, including 1,643 core AI publications, 1,096 computer visions from 96 to 2018. Vietnam has 372 patent applications on AI, ranking 2nd in the Asia region. Regarding human resources, the AI research in Vietnam, currently both domestic and foreigners, is about 1,600 people. There are 50 universities in Vietnam that are training AI-related majors. There are 10 big AI corporations in Vietnam market, including FPT, Viettel, CMC, VNBT, Vingroup, Google, Amazon, and VDA, and IBM. There are about 10 venture capitals that invested in AI, and there are about 65 AI startups in Vietnam. I can tell about some of the AI applications is being developed in Vietnam, including virtual assistant, natural language processing, speak recognitions, electronic medical records using in medical fields and facial recognition in tourism. Next, I would like to mention about IoT. IoT is also a huge potential market in Vietnam as development of 5G network. The IoT segment on smartphone alone can be worth up to 110 millions, and that number is in 2020 and expected to grow to 360 millions by 2023. IoT is booming across industry. For example, smart city, we have Viettel, BKAV and Lumia, the leading companies in smart house sector. Those solutions of those companies also export to many countries like Australia, India, and Singapore. Abivin is one of the first businesses to collect data of vehicle traffic based on digital maps and then optimize direction for vehicle. In overall picture of IoT in Vietnam, it can be seen that segments such as building connectivity, infrastructure, and open platforms are tasks implemented by large telecom communication companies such as Viettel and VNPT. Regarding VR and AR, the technology appeared in Vietnam since 2013, and now it has undergone 4 development stages, especially since 2019 is the breakthrough development period of VR AR in Vietnam, with many quality content integrated in different fields. The technology is being used in different industries. For example, in tourism industry, companies applying VR technology to enhance the experience of tourists, including displaying significant tourist location using AR technology. Directions, companies using AR VR to give direction in the area of commercial center. AR VR is also used in real estate as well. For companies displaying apartment or house design for the customer. So in the next 3 and 5 years, IoT expects to boom in FMCG's health, product service development, and education industries. Regarding big data and data analytics, experts consider Vietnam as the leading prospect for big data development in Asia, as companies like Google, Facebook, and Amazon are looking at the enormous and untapped data in Vietnam. It is essential to set up technology for infrastructure and upgrade the system for them to be able to deal with data from mining, collecting to use and take advantage of AI data. Vietnam has many positive signals from leading telecom companies like Viettel, Mobifone, and VNPT in building that infrastructure. And the data center market is worth at 858 millions and gonna grow at the compound annual growth rate at 14.64% to 2026. Some of the top data center provider in Vietnam are AWS, SAP, Microsoft, IBM, KDDI, Viettel IDC, and FPT. Industry with huge potential growth on big data and data analysis, telecom, banking, finance, and e-commerce. All in all, I've highlighted some of the emerging technology trends in Vietnam with the early advantage of 5G network. Vietnam expects to see a booming in AI, big data, AR, VR, IoT in the next 5 to 10 years. I think there are many opportunities for foreign companies in the market. Yet it comes with many challenges such as technology obstacles, national security, and governance within the domestic market. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lộc. And I believe many companies find various possibilities of cooperations with Vietnamese ICT companies from your presentation. Thank you very much. And the next presentations, please welcome Mr. Lê Quang Lương, CEO of Luvina Software Joystock Company, to share with us one case study on the international outsourcing market from Luvina Software. Please welcome him.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lê Quang Lương. I'm from Luvina Software. I'm CEO of Luvina Software from 2004 until now. Luvina Software is started from 2004, and we are focused to software development and maintenance service, and also system operation. We are a Vietnam company, and we focus 100 to international market. Now we have about 715 employees, and we have international qualification such as CMMI level 3, ISO on security and quality management. We are also a top 10 ICT leading company in Vietnam for many years. The headquarters of company is located in Hanoi capital, and we also have a Japan branch in Kawasaki City. Our service menu is a wide range, including software development and software maintenance, system monitor and operation, cloud migration, digital transformation, human resource supplying, and Vietnam market sales agency. Our business domains is wide range of fields, such as enterprise software system, internet system, and control embedded system. In enterprise software system, we have a lot of projects in banking, insurance, asset management, security, ERP, CRM, accounting, transportation. In internet system field, we have a project in e-commerce, digital marketing, CMS, smartphone application, and a field project in control embedded system like factory automation, bus information system, and mobile camera driver. As you know, international market is a high level market that need engineer a very high level of technology and working style, a modern working style. So of course, we recruit engineer from the market level, but also we focus on the new graduated student who look like a white paper, and we teach them with our special system called Luvina Academy. And I would like to introduce Luvina Academy here. We have two kinds of courses in Luvina Academy. The first is non-IT course. That course is given an opportunity to a study who didn't study IT in university. Here they have 2 months to study programming mindset and basic core Java programming. Only 2 months a non-IT student can become an IT student. Then after they graduate that course, they enter the next course we call Luvina Academy course for IT. Here, the student will study with other IT students, with the same level. In that course, they take 4 months to study a lot of subjects like Japanese, Vietnamese, Japanese working method, database network, Java programming, software development process, and a web application project for practice. Here, maybe people laugh at the Vietnamese subject. Yeah. Here, why we teach Vietnamese here? Because most of software engineer cannot write, cannot think, cannot talk Vietnamese clearly. So it's difficult to do the same thing with English or Japanese. That is the reason we focus to teach Vietnamese to our engineer again and make it master. After they graduate that Lupina Academy course for IT, the student can get the graduate certificate and enter Lupina software without examination more. That is the way we make our engineer stable, our labor resource very stable in the Vietnam market. Here we are looking Singapore company who want to buy our service like software development, software maintenance, cloud migration, digital transformation, system monitor and operation, and human resource supply. We can supply resource for our company and of course for our customer. And maybe we need more Singapore company who can introduce our service to Singapore customer. And if you have some product want to sell in Vietnam market, we can be your agency sell in Vietnam. And is the last one I want to tell why you must choose Lupina, because of 4 reasons. The first, Lupina provides stable software quality. Yeah, quality is very important in software engineering, but the stable quality is more important. We have to keep the same quality in a lot of process, and by this way, the final product is well. The second, we have stable human resource because Lupina Academy is running for more than 10 years, and we have the know-how to make a good engineer for international market. So third reason is our way. Our company want to keep a long-term partner with customer for entire product life cycle. We have Japanese company and some Singapore company to start their product from zero to be, then we release their product to market, and we continue to maintenance, to operation and renewal customer product for several years. And the last reason is our experience in international market for 70 years with Japan, Singapore, and Canada. Okay, thank you for your attention. If you want to contact me to get more information or get a deal in business, please contact to my email. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lê Quang Lương. And okay, so from the beginning, we listened many presentations from Vietnam. And next, may I please to invite one company from Singapore to share their experience of cooperations between Vietnam and Singapore. Please welcome Mr. Frank Lee, Managing Director of Tech JDI Singapore.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share more about Tech JDI from the Singapore perspective of the cooperation between Vietnam and Singapore. A bit about myself, Tech JDI, we are formed in 2016. We are a young company. We spin off from a tech investment firm. So we've been helping a lot of tech companies in Singapore to extend and to partner companies in Vietnam, tech companies in Vietnam. So we are also into market expansion, helping different companies to expand into Vietnam, because the Vietnam is a very great market and opportunities for many of the Singapore companies. I think Singapore really needs Vietnam, so to work together closely so we can grow our ecosystem more. Some of the services we provide cuts across technology, business, and capital. In the technology space, we provide, we try to be the bridge between the human resourcing to hire the development team in Vietnam. We also provide access to freelance network of developers in Vietnam. We do some sort of MVP development. We have our small internal team, but we also work with a lot of other more experienced development partners in Vietnam. So I would really love to catch up with Mr. Lê from Lovina Software. Right. We also help a lot of other companies to go into market expansion, to explore the Vietnam market, because there's a lot of opportunities in Vietnam. Smart city, you talk about the 5G network, you talk about the health tech, fintech. There's a lot of opportunities that Singapore and Vietnam can work together on. So as part of that, we also help the Singapore companies really to run their operations in Vietnam. We also provide capital services, whereby we introduce them to investor network between Singapore and Vietnam side. So we collaborate with many local Vietnamese partners to achieve all this. So some of the companies we've worked with, they are mainly tech companies. Most of them are startups. They have raised their funding, and for example, like Expire Capital, Shopback. These are the companies that have been growing, hiring some people in Vietnam itself. Well, we have about less than 200 people in Vietnam right now, and we definitely find that Vietnam is a great market to grow more and more with. So I think I prepared some slides about Vietnam overview, but I think this is very little compared to what has been spoken by the other speakers so far. But from Singapore point of view, we like Vietnam because there's a stable government over in Vietnam. It's politically very stable, and there's a commitment to foreign direct investments. So when we are in Vietnam, we have strong confidence that Vietnam is a market that we can grow in, right, without issues. We also see that the social landscape changing from 96 million to 120 million, great growth over there. So definitely it's a market that is that Singapore companies should always focus on and to grow in, right? And there's a great emerging middle class, there's great internet penetration. It ticks all the boxes of a nice market of growth in Vietnam, right? The economy landscape is also doing very well. We are seeing high income growth rates. 9.9% compound annual growth rate by 2023. We also love Vietnam for the flourishing startup ecosystem. There are many low-cost and government initiative, tax initiative being mentioned previously about this. And we see that the digital economy is going to be focused on and growing. So fintech, e-commerce, e-industries are accelerating, and I encourage all Singapore companies to really explore to the Vietnam side to basically participate in the growth together. So I think why Vietnam for tech, that we mentioned before already, is there's a great strategy to push advantage, to push the digital and smart technology to grow. And there are many available funds and grants at the state and provincial levels to support growth in startups. So the key sectors, fintech, e-commerce, and enterprise solutions. So there's many offering that the Vietnam's digital economy is offering. So there can be many opportunities for Singapore companies to be there. There's great talent. I love the tech talent in Vietnam. There is never enough tech talent in Singapore. So I'm always trying to work with other tech companies in Vietnam or to hire more developers, architects, AI, ML, data scientists in Vietnam itself. And it's a great spot. We've been looking in other countries, India, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia. So among all these, I think Vietnam is number one compared to all these other countries that Singapore can work with. There is also always a cost arbitrage because I think cost of production and in service in Singapore is expensive. So being able to access Vietnam for the lower production costs is something that all Singapore companies should focus on. I mean, if you there are some reports, don't just take my words for it. There are some reports about the developer ranking. We use HackerRank for a lot of our testings. And basically inside the challenges, you can see that Vietnam is ranked pretty high, 81.1 index score versus the rest of the country. Right. Singapore, basically, I think the cost is just too expensive for us, and therefore it makes sense to have the workbench in Vietnam. So, and of course, when you go to Vietnam, there is a lot of other partners that can help you to be on your journey. There is all the cloud services are there. We have Enterprise Singapore, A-Star, IMDA, all these government associations. They are really focusing on helping more Singapore companies to network and grow into the Vietnam market. Please make full use of this support network to go in there. So there are also a lot of co-working spaces that we are working with in Vietnam. So if you are in Vietnam, right, and you need to find a place, don't worry, there's a lot of co-working spaces. There's an ecosystem there to help you to land in the Vietnam market itself. There are also other services like law, corporate incorporation, corp secretaries, etc., for you to figure out your growth over there. So there will be, if you need to know more of these partners, please reach out to me. I've in my past 5 years in Vietnam, I think I've learned a bit, and even before that, my wife is a Vietnamese, so I've been running back and forth between Singapore to Vietnam for the past 15 years. So definitely you will love the people over there, not just for the tech. I mean, it's a great ecosystem, but you also love the people over there. You love the beer over there, the Hai Ba Yo, right? So all that is definitely something that you would love once you get into the warm embrace of the Vietnamese people, right? Maybe some success factors that I see that's important for you, for Singapore companies when you go into Vietnam itself. You definitely need the local trusted partners. We could not survive in Vietnam if we did not have our local trusted partners. Find the alignment in your vision, mission, and culture, and work with them closely. Find them and align them, and they can work together for win-win scenarios. There's always a lot of win-win scenarios because there's a lot of arbitrage, cost arbitrage on Singapore-Vietnam side. Your customers in Singapore, you could find these customers and you could find good partners for delivery in Vietnam itself. And you can take all these incremental projects, start from small, and you build it up over time, and you will definitely find that there's great value as you have planted your roots in Vietnam. Always have an open channel of communication with your Vietnamese partners, right? When you hide things from each other, costing structure, a customer alignment, etc., it's never good. So having an open channel for communication, because the Vietnamese people are very open when you work with them. Put the problems together so both sides know the problems and you can try and solve it together, right? A lot of times people want to say, okay, maybe I focus on the I know my information here. I'll just give selective information. That may not help because that may result in double effort. Because my Vietnamese partners, they have always been thinking for me when we're doing business. So when I have the problem, we can all solve it together instead of you try and solve it yourself, but the other side they may also try to solve it for you as well, right? And partner engagement is definitely a must. It is getting harder now because of COVID. We cannot travel. I've been stuck in Singapore for the past 1.5 years, cannot travel to Vietnam to meet my team over there. But it is before that, I spent half my time in Vietnam, half my time in Singapore. Having all these interactions, cross-border activities is very important. And you can show your appreciation of local culture. Whenever I'm in Vietnam, my team in Vietnam is crazy over soccer. So we can always talk about soccer, football, right? Vietnam goes crazy over football. I think in 2018, I was in the airport and Vietnam won I think one of the SEA Games, SEA Games. And it was crazy. Everybody was going crazy. The whole night I couldn't get a taxi. Everybody was on the street with the flags and vuvuzela, right? So definitely this is something that you don't see in Singapore and a lot of countries. I appreciate that and enjoy the culture with them. Karaoke, gaming, barbecue dinners, I love them all, food and beer, etc. Then the coffee is great. Every time I come Singapore, Vietnam, I buy a lot of coffee back. For that, yeah. So other than the partner engagement, make sure that you have your clear roles defined because there is always a communication breakdown between Singapore for remote communication, right? You are not in the same office. So it is better to define everything closely so there's less ambiguity. You don't want to end up with a situation of, no, I'm doing this. I thought you are doing that. Why are you not doing that? So all that kind of interaction, please have more communication to tie down on the role and scope. But of course, allow for flexibility because things always changes. things always changes, and we always need to be prepared for flexibility. And I find that the Vietnamese team that I work with, they are all very flexible. So when customer scope changes, we can just basically bring it to the table, and all of us are flexible to find more resources, to find solve the customer needs, and also maybe extend hours of working together or change the scope just so we can fix together. The flexibility is something that I really appreciate from the Vietnamese community. It allows us to get things off the ground and done fast. Yeah, that's all I have to share from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Thank you for your sharing about not only the business in Vietnam, but also the cultures and people and everything. It's so interesting. Okay, so the next presentation is also the last one. Is about experience of cooperation opportunity between Vietnam and Singapore from Vietnam perspective. And I would like to invite Mr. Hùng Nguyễn Pano, CEO and founder of Bestarion.
Good morning, everyone. Can you please see my screen, or can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you all for the speakers sharing about the business perspective of Singapore and Vietnam. And for my session, I would like to share a more specific case study where the business collaboration between Singapore and Vietnam happened, and hope that this would bring benefit to companies in Singapore and also companies in Vietnam. We don't have much experience collaborating each other. So this could be some experience I would like to share with you all. Okay. Okay, so first I'm Hùng, or you call me Vano. I'm the CEO of Bestarion. And I studied in Singapore before in NUS, and I worked there for some time before I came back to Vietnam and joined various outsourcing companies in Vietnam. And finally, I'm now in Bestarion. And we have been, for Bestarion, we have been providing service for the last more than 17 years. The first project customer in Singapore we have in 2013, so 8 years ago. Now we have a team of more than 150 engineers. Besides Singapore, we have our customers in the US, in Europe, and other in total 50 countries. And also we completed around 215 projects in total. So there are many projects and business collaboration we have been doing with Singapore customers, but I would like to share a very specific case study in the banking customer. So this is a journey from a customer from the beginning, where they found us and how they collaborated with us, and in the end, how we bring success to our customers. From the pre-sale stage and the project execution, what is the challenges and how we can overcome that. And include in conclusions, you know, the good points and the improvement points. So this is the pre-sale stage. Actually, Bestarion, we don't have an office in Singapore yet. So we just show our presence on the internet, and especially via some professional platform. So for example, like lush.com, and the customer found us there. They had a bad experience with their current vendor, and they would like to find another alternative vendor to make the transition from the current one to the newer one, which they hope that will bring them more satisfaction. So they found us on lush.com, where they search for certain technologies and skill set. So they contacted by email, and then we set up conference video calls to understand the business needs as well as technical capabilities of Best Avion, and we would like to understand their requirement, their business expectations. Right. And since this is a big banking corporate, so they have a process, a very strict process for vendor valuation. So we have to submit our profile into their vendor management platform, and the process takes about 1 to 2 months. When we qualify with their criteria, and then their team, specifically the project manager, the technology lead, and the director, fly over to Vietnam, to Ho Chi Minh City, to our office for the site visit tour. And they just make the tour, the flight, it's just one day. They flew over to Ho Chi Minh City, have a meeting with us for 2 hours, and then they flew back in one day. When they came over and met us in person, they find out okay. So we proceeded to signing the mutual service agreement, and with all the business and legal security constraints there. And for each scope, we sign on scope of work. For this specific customer, we sign on a 3-month scope of work. But about 1 month before the end day of the scope of work, we extended the next one. So the business collaborations for these customers last about 2 years. Okay, for the project execution, I would like to share further on this. And at the beginning, the challenges. This is not a new project. This is not a new product. We received the product in the middle of development, and we have a pressure to make this project, this product go live in a short time. So, and the in terms of documentation is there, this is very unclear and very little documentation and the design. And there are still many defects and not well structured from the previous vendor. So this is the challenge. So what did we do? We quickly adapt and understand the business needs by closely communicating with the PO, the product owner, and exploring product source codes in order to analyze requirements and deliver new features in a short period. And also, we suggest refactoring or restructuring existing code in many areas to meet performance and security requirements. Since this product is expected to handle more than 5,000 concurrent users when going live. And during the project executions, another challenge is the project managers or the product owner change. So every time, a change in product owner, the expectations also change, the working processes also change. That means the processes like Agile Scrum is keeping the same, but the working style, the working preference different. So we have to adapt to that. And the team, to overcome that, the team have to work with the product owner frequently via multiple channels like email, chat, formal meeting, phone calls, and even 24/7 support. During weekends, we're willing to respond to their requests. And we work on the Agile Scrum methodologies, and every team members have to work on that and collaborating with the customers on a daily basis. And we also get feedback from our customer to improve our quality and improve our collaboration, how to enhance their satisfaction. And one specific requirement for this customer is that since this is a financial institution, the security requirement is very strict. We could not access to their staging or production environments. When we release outsourced code there with the installation guideline, the DevOps there follow the guideline, but somehow they met the issue. But we could not go into their environments to do the troubleshoot. So in order to overcome that, we have to review the log files offline. Okay, and in certain areas, the log files, we don't have the information there. We have to enhance the logging mechanism to capture the error and in order to looking for the root cause of the issue. And so when our customer deployment guy, he deployed the product into their environments, we do the video call, the screen share, and provide the guidance and troubleshoot on the spot. Yeah, and we also, maybe this is a good problem, you know. The customer would like to ramp up the team, double the size in a very short notice, and they would like to ask for a new technologies which we were not familiar with. So to overcome that and to meet the customer expectations, we need to source the talents and quickly form the team and familiarize them with best practices, cultures, and working processes. And closely monitor and train the team members to make sure they can work together and deliver the highest level of engagement. So as a result, we could deliver products on time with high quality within budget. So in overall, what we can see from the collaboration in general, you know, between Vietnam and Singapore, the good point is that it's just 1 hour difference. And you know, there are a lot of overlap times between Vietnam and Singapore. So like the two teams in Singapore and Vietnam can work and collaborate very frequently now. And another one is, you know, from Singapore to Vietnam is, you know, short distance from Ho Chi Minh to Hanoi. So about 1.5 hour flight. So customers can travel there, or we can go to Singapore and meet our customers and return back in 1 day. What the customer found us is that we dedicated and hardworking and very responsive to their needs. Improvement points from our perspective or from our side in Best Avion. Okay, so you know, it takes some time to familiar with Singapore English or we call Singlish, or sometimes, you know, Indian English. So it is hard for us to catch, to understand from beginning. So our people have to familiarize themselves with the accent. And also the team here should be more proactive in communicating and consulting to the customer. It's not like, you know, we do whatever the customer tells us to do, but we should be more proactive in consulting and providing solutions to our customers. Okay. So that is the end of my sharing. And in case if you would like to contact us for any business collaboration, this is our contact information. And we also have information there at the landing page of Vietnam Singapore business matching. Okay, and we look forward to meeting you during the business matching sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vano. Okay, so honorable speakers, discussing guests, and ladies and gentlemen, from the beginnings, we received many questions from participants on the chat box. And now for further understanding about Singapore and Vietnamese business market, business culture and others, we move to the Q&A sections. Feel free to send us your questions by press the button raise hand or send the message to the chat box with the name of the speakers that you want to send the questions to. And we welcome all the questions and your concern. Okay, so start the Q&A section. I received the questions from the participants. What are the challenges for Singapore company to working with Vietnamese company? So I think that Mr. Franklin, you may the suitable person to answer these questions. So, okay, I will repeat the questions. What are the challenges for Singapore company to work with Vietnamese company, according to from your experience?
Yeah, sure. I think the language at the starting point is an issue because Singaporeans speak Singlish, right? We don't speak proper English, even though in our mind we think we do, but it's definitely not, right? So after a while, then you need to slow down and basically to get the communication more clear. So, but that's not just with Vietnam company, it's just with basically Indonesia, Philippines, etc. There's always a communication thing that we need to get used to. So it's really getting used to over a period of 2, 3, 4 months. Then once you are better familiar with it, then you are better able to work together so you understand each other better. Some of the other challenges that we see working with Vietnamese company, I don't know, the traveling back and forth is easy. It's 2 hours, so it's comparatively okay. What other things are there? So I think maybe some of it is also with the rules and regulations, because when I'm in Vietnam, I do see that some of the rules, the circulars always come up regarding HR policy, regarding import export and bringing in and bringing out money from Singapore to Vietnam side. So all that kind of thing, there are some restrictions of control over there, but there's nothing that you cannot work around with, right? So that's generally okay for use. Yeah, so I think that's about it. Yep.
Okay, so can I send these questions for Bastarion and Viettel? What do you think from your perspective? What do you think about the challenge when Vietnamese company working with a Singaporean company, according to your experience? Okay, so I would like to invite Mr. Hùng Nguyễn first, and maybe Mr. Lộc, you can prepare your answer, and you will have answer after Mr. Hùng Nguyễn.
Yeah, okay. So the challenges for the Vietnamese company working with Singaporean company, I think firstly, like Frank just share, this could be the communications, especially in the language communications. And you know, the technical developers who is good, normally they are not good at English, so very hard to communicate with customers verbally, right? This is first one, and the second one in terms of the working style. What we experienced that most of the customers in Singapore, they are very demanding. You know, they're asking for better quality, they're pushing for tighter deadline. So, so the pace there during the project development normally is very fast, and a lot of communications, collaborations there. Yeah, I think that is two things I'm just thinking about that.
And I would like to invite Mr. Nguyễn Hiếu Lộc. Can you share about your experience about what the challenge between Vietnamese company and Singapore company when they are working together?
Hello.
Yes.
Regarding this question, actually, you know, Viettel doesn't have any experience in working with Singaporean companies before. We have a office there, but the only purpose is to do the market research. But I predict that one of the difficulty in working between two countries would be the culture and difference in technologies, the gap in the technology and the solutions provide for two markets would be different. So we need to find a solutions which is scalable, which means that it's suitable to deploy in many different countries.
Okay, thank you. And I received 2 questions from Chatbot, but I think that they come from the same idea. So could I ask the Mr. Frankly, some Vietnamese companies are interested in questioning about the platform that Singaporean companies usually use to search about Vietnamese partner. So I think it's involved to advertising platform that Vietnamese company can use to to reach the Singaporean partners.
This is a hard question to answer because there is not really any one platform that the company that Singapore company use to search for Vietnamese partner. I think Google, that will be the online way of searching. You go online and Google for that. But I think a lot of it will be through the associations, like for VINASA. In Vietnam, when I first went into Vietnam itself, I worked with SBG, HCM, Saigon, Singapore Business Group, Ho Chi Minh City, right? They will be the one to help us to link up to the different partners we have. We also work with Enterprise Singapore, which is the Singapore Government Trade Association, to help you to connect to your partners. So they provide that very initial onset for Singapore companies to reach out, to land, to connect with partners. Yeah, so other than that, maybe it could be the online marketplaces, online business events that we go for. For example, there's food and business shows. So a lot of times the Singaporeans will basically go in the contingent through the association to set up booth or to find partners through those online events or offline events even. So those trade association shows would be useful to reach out to that. Otherwise, it would be through the more warm connection, finding other Singapore companies which are already there. So word of mouth, checking with each other who is better to link up with. I think SG Tech is also part of this. SG Tech in Singapore, they are a tech body. So I think that connection would be useful as well, because yeah, if you want to find tech in Singapore, they'll go to the SG Tech, and they may refer over to the Vietnam side, VINASA, and I think that would be a good channel for more of this.
Okay, thank you. How about the social media network like LinkedIn or Facebook?
Yeah, the online way will be through more of LinkedIn. Yes, Facebook, yes, you have that, but Facebook is more for personal. For business wise, it's more LinkedIn. But then again, LinkedIn, there is a lot of marketing now. Everybody is trying to market themselves in LinkedIn. So how do you go and get past that? But of course, that is still a channel that you must do for LinkedIn. Google, LinkedIn are the two best online media of reaching out to the Singapore side.
Okay. Okay, so I think that we have like a general information about the Vietnamese and Singapore corporations from the webinar today. Due to the time limitations, so we would like to end up the seminar here. So should you have any further issues, or you can contact VINASA to connect with our speaker later after this meeting by sending us an email. Okay, so on behalf of VINASA, I would like to say thank you, Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore, SG Tech, Enterprise Singapore, and SIAA to co-organize with VINASA this seminar. Wow, and I would like to say thank you to all of you speakers and distinguished guests to have the presentations for the audience. I hope that you will have the better point of view and soon will have an action plan and long-term cooperations. Thank you very much and see you on our next event. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinasa, for organizing this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Asocio, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021 chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh bền vững. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Asocio, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021 chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh bền vững. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Asocio, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021 chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh bền vững. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Associate Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Asocio, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh bền vững. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Asocio, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh bền vững. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Asocio, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh bền vững. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Asocio, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh bền vững. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021, diễn đàn về phát triển thành phố thông minh uy tín tại Việt Nam và khu vực châu Á, châu Đại Dương. Được tổ chức thường niên từ năm 2017, hàng năm, sự kiện thu hút lãnh đạo từ 50 thành phố, trên 60 diễn giả tham luận và 500 chuyên gia, lãnh đạo cơ quan, doanh nghiệp liên quan. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 sẽ được tổ chức online từ ngày 2 đến ngày 6 tháng 11 năm 2021 với nhiều chủ đề mang tính thời sự như chính phủ số, bất động sản thông minh, khu công nghiệp thông minh, giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, startup với thành phố thông minh và các hội thảo chia sẻ kinh nghiệm triển khai đô thị thông minh từ Asocio, Đài Loan, Singapore. Nhiều hoạt động song hành hấp dẫn, triển lãm ảo giới thiệu các sản phẩm giải pháp số cho thành phố thông minh, kết nối cung cầu. Đăng ký tham gia ngay hôm nay tại website smartcitysummit.vn. Việt Nam Asocio Smart City Summit 2021 chung tay xây dựng đô thị thông minh bền vững.